Okay, so you've seen plenty of paranormal clips before, but have you seen this? Or this? Or maybe this? I don't think so. And the crazy part, they're just warm-ups. Today's episode is loaded with cryptids, eerie encounters, and paranormal moments that will make you question everything you thought was real. My name is Steve. This is Classified Captures. Now, before we get into this whole video, let's take this first clip. It's a bit chilling, let me tell you. This was filmed in the forested area of the Philippines. A group of men were walking through the trees when they spotted something unusual perched in a tree, quietly eating leaves. It looked a bit like a koala, but it sat more upright than you'd expect, and its shape didn't match any common tree mammal in the region. The clip mostly shows the creature's back as it nibbles, so facial details are hard to see. That makes identification tricky. So what could it be? It might be a little-known or misidentified animal, or even a poorly lit monkey seen at an odd angle, at least. Well, that's the logical argument. Some in our community say it might be a species we haven't documented, or perhaps a cryptid. Without a clearer view, a close-up, or more footage of different angles, it's hard to be certain. Most in the community have, however, accepted the cryptid hypothesis. You've seen the clip, so what do you think this could be? Moving on, we got an odd-looking image. The woman you see in the image took the picture smiling and looking happy. When the image was developed, however, there was something in there that she definitely did not expect. Right above her appeared a strange figure. At first glance, it looks humanoid, but the face didn't look human anymore. Its features were warped, almost unnatural, as if something was trying to mimic a person but couldn't quite get it right. Some in the community have argued that it's a glitch in the camera, while others believe there was something else there that decided to make itself known at the exact moment she posed for the photograph. Are you seeing the capture? So what's your take? Next, we got this footage from a Ring camera that caught something moving outside a house in the middle of the night. At first, it looks like a person, but the shape isn't solid. It's a pale, white, cast-like figure that seems almost not fully there. After a few seconds, it simply vanishes. Some speculate that it might be a real person in a poor light, blurred and washed out by the camera's night vision. Others believe it's a ghost or spirit caught on camera, especially because the figures fade away. What do you think it is? This photo was taken back in 2013. The poster shared it on Reddit years later after digging through old work files. He was working on a film set at the abandoned Linda Vista Hotel, helping with crew work, so they were shooting images and video while moving through the empty hallways of the hotel. After the shoot, while going through the images, he noticed something odd. In one hallway shot, there's a strange human-shaped figure. It's very translucent. It doesn't look fully solid and some facial features are blurred. At first it reads like it might be a person, but the more you stare, the less human it looks. This photo was taken back in 2013, as I said, and he only found it later on in old camera cards. He can't confirm whether someone was on set that day, and there are no records of any extras or crew members standing in that spot. He believes it wasn't human. The truth is, the Linda Vista has a reputation for being haunted. So, could that be the case here?
Sounds a little bit like something out of The Shining. You ever read that book?
Seen the film? Watch it, or read it if you haven't. A woman in northern Santa Barbara has been noticing something strange around her home and neighborhood. Patches of land keep appearing wet, even though no rain has fallen and no water source can be seen. Tests show no trace of chlorine ruling out the city's supply. Instead, the water seems to be rising from the ground itself. Now, whispers are spreading among locals, and a chilling thought lingers. Could California be slowly sinking beneath our feet? Water coming up from where there's no rain could be caused by groundwater seepage to the surface. Another cause might be seepage from irrigation lines, septic systems, or even a slow leak from a nearby pond or reservoir that travels underground and shows up in low spots. When it comes to this situation, however, we're unable to say with certainty what exactly is happening. The online community is also divided. There are some who believe she's got a bad leak, whereas a few others think the lady's concerns might be legit. California is really sinking. Any experts or locals here to share their thoughts?
So California is falling into the water, and I have proof. I called the city yesterday about all that water that's coming up out of the ground on our property. And when the lady told me to check our water meter, I pulled the lid off the thing, and it was like almost covered in water. And I Googled it, and it said that that's not normal. Then I called my husband, and I was like, there is water everywhere. So the initial leak that we found is on we'll say the west side of our property. Our water meter is on the east side of our property. So there's water coming up on both sides.
Moving on, we got an update on the man in Panama who found the meteorite and decided to take it home. For those who missed it, it started out as just a strange rock, but after a short while, the man in question noticed something unusual growing on it. That's where we left off last time. Well, would you believe me if I told you that now this thing has somehow gotten even bigger? The man in question placed a camera inside the safe to monitor it, and yeah, it's grown much larger. What makes it even worse is that it seems to be moving, like it's breathing. Well, this raises some serious questions. Many believe we could be looking at the origin story of Venom. You know, from Spider-Man. Jeez. For those unfamiliar with it, that Venom is supposed to be alien. So could we be looking at an alien organism that survived the trip through space and landed right here on Earth? If so, then what's growing on that meteorite might not even be part of our planet. There are some who also think it's more along the lines of him finding a rock covered with spores, alien spores to be precise. Well, if that's the case, the worry is whether it could spread. Imagine spores from space starting to grow and expand in our environment. Some have even compared it to the start of The Last of Us, but on a much bigger and scarier scale. Of course, skeptics point out that it could just be a natural reaction to gases or minerals inside the meteorite making it appear alive, or maybe even a hoax, but, well, if it's real, it opens up the possibility that meteorites could carry not only organic matter, but also life we don't understand. If that's the case, then maybe we should be concerned about what's growing on the rock and stop being intrigued by it. This man had two strange encounters, one in his basement and one on the street. And now he's asking if they're connected. He was on Snapchat doing laundry in the basement when he heard a noise. He went to check and didn't see anyone, but he did notice a shadow behind a stack of books. It was a dark shape. Another night, he was walking home alone and got the feeling that he was being followed. So he took out his phone and looked behind him and saw a dark, humanoid figure stalking him from the shadows. It was close enough to be clearly seen on camera. And he got scared that he ran all the way home. This was his second run-in with something paranormal. So could the thing in the basement and the one on the street be the same?
Hi, my baby. I love my kitty.
Don't believe what you see. Don't believe.
It's the strangest thing to me is the fact that someone was on Snapchat doing laundry. Laundry. That's the freakiest thing about that clip. This photo was supposed to be just two people posing together, but if you look closely between them, something else shows up. Right there in the middle, you see what looks like half of a face. It's dark, shadowed, and doesn't match either person in the picture. That's where things get strange. Some family members say the face looks like a relative who passed away years ago. Well, if that's true, then maybe the camera captured more than just the living. But others argue it could just be a random shadow or shape that our minds are turning into a face. After all, the human brain is wired to find faces, even when they aren't really there. Still, the detail is unsettling. The face doesn't seem to belong to anyone in the photograph, and it appears just clear enough to make people question what they're seeing. So could this be a spirit? A man says strange things started happening in his house, all around the doorknobs. He filmed a few clips. In one, he enters a room and a door handle starts to jiggle on its own. He walks over, opens the door, and it leads to the bathroom, but nobody is inside. In another clip, a different door does the same thing. The handle moves, he goes to check, opens the door, and there's nothing there. Later, the laundry room door acts up the same way. It looks like something is messing with the doorknobs, but the fact that it's happening to different doors, well, and the fact that he caught it on video makes people wonder if it's something else, like a poltergeist, a protective spirit, or some other unseen presence testing the house. If that is the case, is it trying to get in or out? A man was randomly going through his home security footage when he noticed something odd. There was this strange-looking figure floating across the room. At first, he thought it was just a simple reflection on the camera lens, but the footage doesn't really back that up. The camera stayed steady the entire time, and nothing else in the room was reflecting or moving. As the object drifted upward, it became harder to dismiss. It didn't act like dust or an insect close to the lens, and it didn't vanish the way light glare usually does. So what exactly are we looking at here? Could this be some kind of unknown creature, a piece of technology, or even something paranormal passing through his house? Or maybe it's just a trick of the eye that we haven't just quite figured out yet. If you grew up in the 90s, you probably remember those juice pouches your parents packed into school lunches. Of course I don't, because in the 90s I was already an adult, but drinks like Capri Sun and similar brands seemed harmless at the time. It was a sweet treat. But looking back, the truth is these juices were little more than sugar water, with almost no real nutritional value. In some cases, people even found mold growing at the bottom of the pouches, hidden until he finished drinking. Recently, some of these juice products have been recalled due to health concerns, proving, well, that these juices weren't just in the past. For many kids, the constant sugar intake led to serious problems like sugar spikes, crashes, hyperactivity, and in some cases, long-term impacts on health and behavior. Parents thought that they were giving their kids something safe and refreshing, but in reality, these drinks set up unhealthy habits that lingered for years. It's a bit unsettling to realize how many of you guys actually grew up on these products when my mom, God bless her cotton socks, used to give us an apple, a couple of sandwiches, and some water. Yeah, so should these kind of sugary pouches still even be allowed on the market for kids today? Yeah, I don't think so. See, when I was a kid in the 70s and 80s, we didn't have any of these fast food drinks, as you want to call them. We got a lunchbox with sandwiches, an apple, a couple of biscuits maybe. We used to get milk at break time. Yes. And all of these kind of weird drinks we never got, and I think that's the reason why most people my age are so sane. A night shift bodyguard was working all alone in the park when he heard what sounded like kids playing in the background. He grabbed his phone and moved closer to check, but as he approached, the noise stopped, and there was nothing there. Standing still, listening, he suddenly saw a dark, humanoid figure coming toward him. It was shadowy, without clear features, and moved in a way that made him uneasy. He froze for a moment, then turned and left as fast as he could. So what could it have been? It might have been a person hiding in the dark, someone playing a cruel trick, or even a homeless person wandering through the park. For those who believe in the paranormal, it fits the pattern of shadow figures or night entities that appear when places are quiet. So which one does feel most likely to you?
La verga. No mames, si hay alguien allá, güey. Sí, si hay alguien allá, claro.
Stanford scientists have created a brain implant that can decode inner speech in real time. On the surface, it's meant to help people who cannot speak find their voice again, but think about it. If a device can read the words in your head, what stops someone from using it against you? Your private thoughts could suddenly become the most vulnerable thing you have. Surveillance, manipulation, even forced confessions is not impossible once this kind of technology exists. So while this sounds like a breakthrough, well, it also opens up the door to a future where even your own mind can no longer be safe. Jeez, imagine that. This footage was shared by someone driving late at night. They were taking a remote road along the wilderness. Well, nothing unusual at first, until that camera picked up something strange. Up ahead, just in front of the car ahead of them, a figure suddenly runs across the road. At first glance, well, it could be mistaken for a person, but when you look closely, the shape doesn't quite match. It almost seems to glow faintly against the darkness, and the way it moves so quickly, almost gliding across the road, looks far too fast for any normal human being. Some people say it could have been an animal, maybe blurred by the headlights, but the glowing outline doesn't really match that explanation. Others think it might have been a camera glitch or reflection, though the motion looks too solid to be just a trick of the lens. And of course, some believe it could be something else entirely, maybe even paranormal. Out there in the middle of nowhere with no houses, no people around, what could have been running across the road that night? This little boy was in his room, sitting by the bed, when something terrifying happened. Out of nowhere, it looked like an unseen force grabbed his leg and began dragging him across the floor. He slid several feet before he managed to pull free. Panicked, he scrambled to his feet and ran out of the room as fast as he could. When he told his parents, well, they brushed it off at first, thinking maybe he tripped or was making it up. But then they reviewed the footage, and what they saw shocked them. The video clearly shows the boy being pulled across the floor, just like he said. No one else was there, nothing visible was holding him, and that just didn't make sense. Now, the family is deeply unsettled. If it wasn't a prank, if it wasn't a pet or an accident, then what dragged him? Was it a spirit tied to the house, or could it be an unseen presence trying to harm him? This footage was taken at a park at night. The camera caught an outdoor gym glider machine moving on its own. There was no one near it, but the machine started swinging by itself. So, well, what could this be? It might be the wind pushing the equipment, especially if the park is exposed to it. It could be a mechanical issue or a loose bolt that lets the glider swing on its own. Someone could have come by earlier and pushed it, or it might be a prankster who ran off before the camera caught them. However, believers claim it's something paranormal that moves the machine when no one is around. The clip is simple but strange. A public exercise machine moving in the night with no one there to use it. Is it a trick of nature, human mischief, or something else? What do you think? To be honest, humans have come a long way with tech, especially in medicine. This man had an accident and lost a large part of his skull. At first, his head looked wrong and damaged, but doctors were able to 3D print and reconstruct the missing bone. Now his head is back to its original shape. It's the kind of thing that, would have been impossible not long ago. Seeing a person restored like this makes you realize how far medical tech has come. Today, it's bone. Tomorrow, maybe entire organs, and who knows, maybe even brain tissue. With every step forward, things keep getting better. Soon accident victims and people born without limbs will get one from just 3D prints. If they're in a situation where they can actually, make new brain tissue, maybe they need to give that to the heads of the governments, and we're not going to mention names now, but, the ones that run England and Russia and America. New brain tissue might be good for those guys. Have you ever heard of the Crybaby Tunnel? A man visited the place one night and recorded his walk. The legend says a woman was hit by a train there long ago and fell into the creek with her baby. People say you can still hear the baby crying near the water. The man says he saw something in the creek, and what freaked him out more was that he heard a baby crying. The sound made him run. The legend has been told in the town for years. So, is it true? Well, maybe. It's nothing more than an old story that gets retold and grows. Some places play into the legend with fake sounds to keep the story alive, or if you believe in ghosts, it could be a tragic echo that repeats on certain nights. Legends like this stick because you make them feel like they're real inside of yourself when you're there at night alone. But you gotta decide for yourself. Is the Crybaby Tunnel just a story passed down to keep people away, or is there something still calling from the tunnel?
Her body was dumped right there in the creek down here. There's something dead right there. Bro, there's something dead right there. Hello? Right. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
A woman had a monitor in a nursery watching her baby. One night she woke, went in the bathroom and glanced at the monitor and froze. Right up close to the camera was a face. It stared only for a moment, then vanished. The woman says she didn't recognize the face, and that is what made it worse. So what could this be? It might have been an intruder who slipped into the room, put their face to the monitor, and left before the baby stirred. There is also the chance someone staged or edited the clip later. And for those who accept the paranormal, could it be a spirit appearing? A face that close and quick is terrifying, especially with a sleeping baby nearby. So what do you think? We came across this footage of a massive shark said to be around 45 feet tall rising out of the ocean. It looks like a normal shark, but just way bigger than what we're used to. That's why many people are wondering if this could be proof of the legendary megalodon, the giant prehistoric shark scientists say went extinct millions of years ago. Now, of course, others think the footage could be fake or just edited to look dramatic. It's easy to manipulate video these days, and sea stories always spark wild speculation. And if it's real, then the thought of something that size still swimming in the oceans is terrifying. Could megalodons really still exist in the deep, or is this just another internet hoax? This night camera caught something moving through the forest. The footage is dark, and when the image was brightened, you can clearly see a huge humanoid figure with a very large belly mid-walk. The size and posture and the enhanced frame don't match a normal person. Those who analyze the proportions say it can't be a human and suggest it could be Bigfoot. That's the claim that got people talking. An upright, large-bodied creature caught on camera at night in the woods. The footage might also be distorted by camera angles, zoom or blur, making an ordinary creature look huge and human-shaped. Now, of course, there's always the chance it's staged with a pseudo edited after the fact. But if the footage is real and unedited, it's worth a closer look. So what do you think? Bigfoot? A bear? Or just a trick on camera? This woman found a thick black box with a magnet stuck to her car. She took it off, posted a photo online, and said it scared her. She was worried someone was tracking her. A few days later, on October the 26th, 2021, Abigail Abby Saldana, 22, was found dead in a car near Dallas-Fort Worth. Police arrested 54-year-old Stanley Frank Salija and charged him with connection with her death. She was a dancer and had rejected a man who was pursuing her. Seems he didn't like that. So he put a tracker on a car to follow her, and that ended her. This is a real tragic case. A woman found something that scared her, and then she was killed days later. Be careful out there, okay? If you notice a tracking device or anything unusual attached to your car, don't ignore it. First of all, chuck the damn thing away and then get help.
But this was literally on my car like this. This is why you have to be careful. I don't really know what to do moving forward with this, but this definitely looks like a tracker to me. All right. So this is so crazy, you guys. So crazy. Like, who would do this? It says sell.
A home surveillance camera caught something strange late at night. The family didn't notice anything wrong until they reviewed the footage and saw an odd figure walking through the kitchen. It moved slowly, almost gliding, then fades. People are split about what to make of it. Some say it could be an intruder slipping through the house while everyone slept. And then there are the folks who think this is something else, a night entity that appears when the house is quiet, a presence that comes out after dark and disappears with the daylight. So what do you think it is? A person, a camera glitch, or something that comes out only at night? This footage shows something strange moving in the ocean. At first it looks like just another ripple on the surface until you notice the spike rising from its back. It doesn't match the shape of any normal fish or whale that we know. We've all heard the old stories of sea monsters. Most times they get explained away as hoaxes or misidentifications, but well, this clip has got people questioning again. Is it real? Well, if it is, then what exactly are we looking at? Some say it could be just a large sea animal with a barnacle parasite or even debris stuck on its back, and others believe it might be a carcass drifting in the water. The movement of the waves make it look alive. But there's also the possibility that this is something we haven't classified yet. After all, we've only explored a fraction of Earth's waters. So what do you think? The mysterious behavior of clouds in the sky as captured in this footage adds another layer of intrigue to the unexplainable phenomena we often encounter. Unlike typical cloud formations, this patch of clouds exhibits unusual movement and shape-shifting, deviating from the norm typically associated with clouds. In trying to understand this phenomenon, one might consider various factors such as atmospheric conditions, wind patterns, or even the possibility of an unconventional cloud formation. However, without more context or scientific analysis, we're left to our imaginations and speculation. Do you have any explanation? Share it with us in the comments section. Before we move on in the next video, just another reminder, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel yet, please do so now. I wouldn't want to send a Bigfoot after you. And don't forget to share with your friends and family as well. Thank you very much. Next, let's take a look at what I like to consider one of nature's show-offs. In broad daylight, this strange thing happened. There was water pouring from the sky at just a small part of the street, and when pedestrians looked up to check who or what could have been pouring the water at that specific spot, they realized it was from the sky. It was just rain. This was an interesting occurrence by all standards. Sometimes during a rain shower, clouds might be unevenly spread, causing rain to fall in one area while leaving another dry. This can happen because of the way clouds form and move, leading to localized rain in certain spots, even in broad daylight. While what I just described is an occurrence we have seen several times, this particular one is just new and quite frankly, a bit scary. Do you think the footage is real, or could there be some digital manipulation ongoing? Share your thoughts in the comments section as always. This spectacular event unfolded in Mendoza, Argentina, where a meteor allegedly descended from the skies and crash-landed. When the residents went to check out the site, this is what they found: a smoking rock. When a meteorite impacts the Earth, it can generate intense heat and potentially cause a small explosion upon impact, leading to smoke or dust, as you can see with this one. But one thing that doesn't add up is the absence of a crater. Meteorites typically leave craters when they reach the Earth's surface. The area around this rock clearly looks undisturbed, which makes Julius think it's a fake. Is someone trying to get their 5 minutes of fame, or is there more at play here? Share your thoughts. A man is strolling through the forest, casually filming, when suddenly he spots something that sends him sprinting for his life.
Aujourd'hui. Donc je retourne à la maison.
The creature responsible, not one to be outdone, decides to join in on the chase, leaving the poor man absolutely terrified. Now everything happens so quickly that it's almost like a blur, but when you slow it down, there it is, a pale, almost white creature. It appears to be similar in height or possibly taller than the man. It also has hollow eyes with a mouth wide open. It's got that classic alien vibe. Most alien sightings are peaceful strolls through the woods, but this one, it's got some serious aggression going on. Luckily, the man has some serious sprinting skills. Who knows what would have happened if this extraterrestrial speedster caught up? What's your take on this spine-chilling encounter? Real alien encounter or a well-executed forest fright? An orb from the sky begins to descend toward the direction of the raccoon. When you look carefully, you'll notice that even the raccoon stops to look at the orb before scurrying into the darkness. What could this luminous orb signify? Was it a mere firefly flickering in the night, an unidentified flying object weaving through the cosmic expanse, or perhaps something beyond the grasp of our understanding? Imagine getting a foot massage from a masseuse named Nibbles. Well, now imagine this masseuse also being a gator that can easily bite your toes off or at least take a chunk out of your foot. That's the exact situation with this man and his bizarre choice for a masseuse. Am I the only one who finds the whole thing crazy, or do you guys think it's cool? Whatever you guys think, I believe this man is one of the luckiest ones alive to be playing with a very dangerous animal and getting away with it. Whatever you do, don't ever attempt this at home. You hear me? Keep your limbs safe. Thank you. If you've made it this far, could you please hit the like button, subscribe, and even drop a comment if you haven't already? It goes a long way to make it possible to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Moving back to the day's episode, Hunter set up a trail camera in the woods to capture game when he retrieved this device that revealed something unexpected. In the clip, we see a police officer cautiously walking through the woods holding his gun in a vigilant position. Shortly after he passed the camera lens, a strange beast appeared. The creature had a height of at least 8 or 9 feet with fur all over its body. Naturally, all who saw it believed it was a Bigfoot. The mystery lies in whether the policeman was hunting down the creature or if the creature was stalking the officer on patrol. With limited information on the footage, all we can do is speculate. What are your thoughts on this intriguing scenario? Something rather wild and interesting. This man was walking through the woods while filming when he unknowingly captured footage of a creature walking behind him. The creature was bipedal and had fur all over. It was furry from head to toe. Critically analyzing the footage, it appears the creature was moving from one side of the forest to the other when it was unknowingly captured by the camera. Fortunately for both parties, it wasn't until the man got home that he realized he'd captured something. It's no doubt that this creature fits the typical description of a Bigfoot. I'm not saying this isn't authentic, but believe me when I say there's no way you'd miss a creature of that size if it was just a few meters from you. Even if you somehow do miss it, I doubt it'll miss you, but what do I know, right? Humans have always demonstrated a remarkable ability to adapt to their surroundings, and camouflage has played a crucial role in various contexts, especially in military scenarios. In this intriguing footage, we witness the art of human camouflage in action. The clip showcases the utilization of a concealed compartment beneath the ground, allowing the individual to appear and disappear with remarkable speed. In the next clip, you can see some trees on a hill, and from the trees, a man walks out covered in leaves. From his dress, he's likely a soldier engaged in training or on the battlefield. You'd never have guessed that he was even there. The video captures the fascinating ways in which humans harness their creativity to overcome challenges. The idyllic setting of a sunny beach took an unexpected turn as a beachgoer stumbled upon the perplexing sight of a mysterious creature's carcass. However, the remains were severely crushed, rendering the identification of the creature a challenging puzzle. In the absence of clear features, speculation runs wild. The possibility of it being the remains of a dog that met an unfortunate fate at sea emerged as a plausible explanation. As we sift through the sands of speculation, the identity of our beachside enigma remains shrouded in the mysteries of the sea. What do you think of the whole thing? As always, please do share your thoughts with us.
Cows found mutilated, some of them cut with precision and their bodies seemingly untouched with no bloodshed.
If you thought that was weird, you might want to strap up for a mystery that's as baffling as it is unsettling. This farmer woke up to find his cows victims to mutilation. For decades, this eerie phenomenon has left farmers scratching their heads, and in this recent clip, the livestock meet their demise in a strangely precise manner. They were found on their sides with faces cut along the jawline and tongues removed. Weirdly, 2 of the cows sported circular cuts, taking away the anus and external genitalia. What makes this scene even more perplexing is the lack of blood, as if the whole operation was carried out with surgical precision by an otherworldly force. The farmer, leaning toward the extraterrestrial side of the spectrum, believes that aliens might be harvesting animal parts. The big question remains, for what purpose? With many varying opinions, there is not one clear answer for this. If we were to ask you, though, what would you say is happening? Extraterrestrial experimentation, secret government projects, or perhaps a well-coordinated prank that has spanned decades? Share your thoughts with us. After an explosion was heard, this strange light was seen in the sky. It's bright orange and moved downward, vanishing into the night sky.
Oh, look!
What is that?
Some say it's a flare gun, probably shot from the vicinity of the explosion as a distress signal. It's a common enough scenario and makes sense, right? Well, not everyone shares the sentiment, and many believe there's more to the situation than meets the eye. As the camera shakes, some keen observers point out the fact that the streetlight and the mysterious skylight share a suspiciously similar shimmy, and this naturally leads to some skepticism. Could the whole thing be the result of CGI? Many seem to think so. Believers in the paranormal, however, insist that there's something ominous happening in the footage. Personally, I don't see it, and Julius, my new assistant whose judgment I trust, doesn't see anything. Even Aaron, the believer of all things paranormal, thinks something might be trying to pull a fast one on us. What do you think?
What is that?
Oh my goodness!
Oh my god. Something exploded. What is that?
Our next clip is footage taken from 2 guys in a car who were driving through a forest fire. As our daring duo navigates through the forest, flames dance menacingly on both sides, casting an apocalyptic glow on their surroundings. The heat intensifies within the confines of their vehicle, and the reality of being caught in the heart of a wildfire sets in. The tension in the car is palpable as one of the occupants expresses concern about the escalating temperatures.
We can't get out! I'm getting out. You can't drive back.
The inferno seems unyielding, and the prospect of escaping its clutches becomes increasingly daunting. In the face of such adversity, the men find themselves at a critical crossroads: to stay inside the relative safety of their vehicle or to brave the scorching surroundings outside. At the end of the footage, we're left in suspense. Did they emerge unscathed from this fiery ordeal, or did the relentless flames claim their victory?
Holy. Oh my god. Yo, come look at this. Look at that, dude.
A man shared this footage he'd taken in the sky right above a residential area. It was a saucer-shaped object that was flying in the sky. The object moved slowly and steadily for a few moments before coming to a stop. It remained stationary in the sky for several seconds before suddenly accelerating and disappearing from view at a staggering speed. Some people think the video isn't real because these days it's pretty common to use computer tricks to make things look real even when they're not. But then some believe in the authenticity of the sighting, pointing to the sheer improbability of fabricating such a convincing encounter. After all, stranger things have happened in the realm of UFO sightings and unexplained phenomena. What's your take?
Holy. Oh my god. Yo, come look at this.
Have you ever seen chickens play the freeze game? If you haven't, boy, are you in luck. Enjoy.
Oh goodness. Where y'all going? Where are you going? You ready for some grubs? Let's go!
A man owning a poultry farm walked into his birds standing still for what looked like 4 to 5 minutes. Perplexed, he recorded the whole thing and posted it online. How is this even possible? The truth is, it shouldn't be, and the thought of it is just bizarre. Jesters who saw the whole thing told him his birds were probably playing the freeze game. You know, that game where you stand still after the music stops. While that's something fun to think about, our paranormal enthusiasts think the whole thing is a glitch in the Matrix. What do you guys also think? This next one is a compilation of deer exhibiting strange behaviors. They even, dare I say, look possessed. You can see the animals rolling on the ground, some moving in circles and some aimlessly running about. As much as some would like to classify this as paranormal, it's not. Yes, I did say they looked possessed, but with a little research, you'd realize that these animals are actually suffering. The cause behind these distressing actions is not of supernatural origin, rather it points towards a tragic and real condition known as chronic wasting disease. This malady affects various deer species, causing neurological degeneration, behavioral abnormalities, and eventually death. It's a devastating condition, and the footage serves as a poignant reminder of the challenges that wildlife faces, including disease that can impact their populations. While the scenes are unsettling, understanding the natural causes behind such behavior allows us to address these issues with empathy and work toward the conservation and well-being of our fellow inhabitants on this planet. If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us to make more videos like these ones for you. Thank you so much. Now, back to today's episode. There is a widely accepted belief among various cultures in the scientific community that civilizations existed before our time. Over the years, evidence of such past civilizations have been found in the form of various artifacts.
This one really isn't my story, but we'll talk about it briefly. Anybody in here know what that is? Okay, so we got at least one person in here that knows what it is. Let me show you another picture, close-up of it.
Recently, a cave explorer made a fascinating discovery in a private cave located in Manti, Utah. The explorer came across two rocks in the cave, one of which was glowing. The other rock, which was found to be an unusual stone, resembled an ostrich egg but was made of rock. The explorer didn't touch the glowing rock but took flakes from the strange stone for testing. Upon testing, several things were found in the stone, including human blood that dates back as far as 3000 BC. This enigmatic artifact raises many questions. Could it be a relic of a bygone era lost to the annals of time? You tell me.
I can't tell you those kind of things on any of this stuff. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know who owns it. I know who had access to it when I saw it, but I can't even give you that information. That's not for me to give.
Intrigued by this discovery, I went digging around and discovered even more news on golem-looking creatures. This sighting was also captured in the valleys of Beijing. Unlike the first one, this one had huge ears and moved rather quickly. On second thought, I think the first one is also capable of moving quickly. The difference is in the shyness, at least those are my thoughts. This was allegedly captured by a tourist who was exploring the valleys of Huairu, located north of Chinese capital. According to the tourist, he was taking a short break when he noticed the creature suddenly appear. The sighting has caused quite a stir among locals in the tourist community. Personally, it's stirring up thoughts within me as well. Why are there golem-like creatures appearing in China? Is there something in China we're not aware of? Is the golem-like creature to the Chinese what Bigfoot is to the Americans? So many questions. Either way, what do you think of both sightings? A jewelry maker had a customer return a ring and ask for some changes because it didn't fit. Now, when the ring was returned, it came along with this strange-looking container. He doesn't know what this thing is, and that's not even the problem here. Take a look at this. When he opens the container, the camera becomes all grainy, but when he closes it, it goes back to normal. What does that mean? Some viewers say that there could be some sort of radiation emanating from the container. What do you guys think? If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now, back to today's episode. Our next clip takes us along the borders of Kazakhstan, where a group of individuals stumbled upon a cave that has since been causing quite a stir. Take a look. Do you hear the strange noise coming from the cave? It sounds like a roar, yet it has this electronic mod to it. Take a listen. Did you hear that? Now, name an animal that sounds like that. I bet you can't. Now, what makes this even spookier is the fact that the cave's entrance is sealed tight with massive rocks. Whatever is in there was definitely intentionally kept there. The question is, why? Some think it might be a monster, while others think it might be some secret doomsday weapon. Then there's Julius, our know-it-all, who thinks this is nothing more than a hoax. Personally, I agree with him. But what do you think? If you think that was weird, take a look at this creature someone found washed ashore on a beach. It looks wet and it's hard to tell if it's hairy. It had these strange-looking lines that looked like they were opening on its body with hairs sticking out of it. Now here's where it gets spooky. You watch kind of fascinated and freaked out as the whole creature seems to be moving, not just from the waves, but like it's alive and breathing right there on the beach. So what is this thing? Is it a new sea creature nobody's seen before, washed up on the shore by chance? Or maybe it's something even crazier, like an alien from a sci-fi movie? Share your thoughts. Everyone loves their aerial drone clips, but sometimes if you are very attentive, you'll see what others have missed. The next clip is no exception. This was supposed to be ordinary footage of a mountain, but someone slowed the clip and noticed something rather odd. A glitch appeared for a moment and then disappeared, leaving behind an oddly shaped craft that lasted for only a second. Could this enigmatic glitch be evidence of a UFO with a cloaking device momentarily revealing itself before retreating into the shadows? I'd like to think that's a tantalizing possibility given the long history of sightings and encounters with unidentified flying objects. Either that or someone's playing the editing game with us and passing it off as the real thing. Without more information, it's tough to say for certain. Perhaps it's merely a trick of the light or a glitch in the footage itself, rather than a visitation from beings beyond our understanding. What's your take? Let us know in the comments section. Check out this incredible scene at the Sarangani Province Island Beach Resort in Masim, Philippines. A crowd is gathered at the shore. But why? Well, the fishes in the sea were swimming out onto the shore. As you can see, people are loading up large baskets of fish right there. This is very puzzling. Fishes are creatures of the sea, right? Seeing them voluntarily swim ashore is like a fishy version of a red carpet event. It's usually not their style, considering it often means, well, not great things for them. So the big question is, what could have spooked these fishes out of their comfort zone into the land and hands of humans? Still on strange finds, take a look at this one.
That's what I thought it was the first time that I saw this the other day. I mean, it's out literally in the middle of nowhere, under this big oak.
A man found a hole under an oak tree in the middle of nowhere. Curious, he decides to peek in using his camera, and once he does, he discovers a flight of stairs leading further into it. So what does our brave explorer do? He descends into the unknown, and what he finds is downright perplexing. The stairs lead him into a tunnel, surprisingly lit with lights on the walls. You'd think this would be the sign to be cautious and return, but no, deeper and deeper he goes. And the odd thing is, it's just stairs, stairs, and more stairs. The temperature drops as he ventures further until he reaches a colossal ancient-looking door, which is where our clip ends. What could he have discovered? Could it be some sort of facility or something more? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. A peculiar craft was recently spotted in the sky, hovering among the clouds. The object is disc-shaped and has several rotating circles around its perimeter. As it moves across the sky, the circles keep rotating at a steady pace, giving the impression of a machine in motion. Witnesses describe the object as completely silent and moving with great agility, unlike any aircraft they've ever seen. Some have speculated that it might be a new kind of unidentified flying object, while others believe it could be a secretive military aircraft. The take of my team is that this has to be a hoax. I don't agree with them, though. Until we can prove beyond reasonable doubt that it's false, I don't think we should call it that. What do you think? As we all know, gravity is one of the fundamental forces of nature that plays a crucial role in our daily lives on Earth. It's the force that holds everything together and keeps us grounded. However, I recently stumbled upon some intriguing footage that has left me feeling confused. In the clip, a hand is seen grabbing a strange piece of stick that's shaped like a spiral. The stick is then placed under running water, and to everyone's surprise, it begins to spin as it moved upward while still under the running water. While I'm no science whiz, I doubt this follows the law of physics. Unfortunately, our resident scientist is out of the studio investigating a phenomena we intended to show in our next clip, so he can't be of help. Can any of you help? Is this some kind of optical illusion or trick of the camera? Or is there really a scientific explanation for the phenomenon? Please share your thoughts.
I'm getting a video. There's this huge thing making a re-entry right now.
In this next clip, a man on the road becomes an unwitting witness to a mesmerizing event, a mysterious ball of light gracefully gliding through the sky, leaving behind a radiant trace. It almost seems as if the object is signing the heavens with its luminosity.
Huge fireball up in the sky. That's actually sick.
One question lingers. Was this celestial phenomenon a mere meteor in its fleeting brilliance, or could we be looking at extraterrestrial visitors camouflaged in such a manner so they would appear unsuspecting? It's hard to say, really. On one hand, I see a meteor. On the other, I know how far our extraterrestrial neighbors will go to keep their presence a myth. So what do you guys think is happening here? Share your thoughts with us. Capture from a farm where a perplexing discovery was made. Our discoverer, who also doubles as a farmer, stumbled upon a creature with a striking resemblance to the legendary chupacabra. The creature barely had any hair on its skin and looked a little strange and perhaps sickly. While many would have thought that they were dealing with a canine suffering from mange, our discoverer insists that this was a chupacabra. According to him, he'd noticed other things which made him sure it could be a chupacabra. For one, his chickens had been mysteriously disappearing in a way that was reminiscent of the work of the chupacabra. We're not exactly sure if he was finding the chickens with their blood drained. If he was, it could entertain the possibility of a chupacabra. Other than that, my team and I believe he may have simply encountered a canine suffering from mange. The disappearance of his chicken could also be associated with the same creature we're seeing, or coyotes and other predators that may live around him. What do you guys think, though? Is that really a chupacabra, or is the farmer simply seeing things that are not there? Share your thoughts in the comment section. No, this is no alien. This is actually a species of bird on our planet. If you're expecting me to tell you which, I won't be doing that because it's our bonus clip of the day. This is your opportunity to show us how much you know about the Earth as we search for signs of life out there. Tell us what bird this is and give us one fact about it. The best answer gets a feature and shout out in our next episode. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Start your answer with the word bonus so we can easily identify it. All the best. This next one was sent in by a subscriber of this channel. Just a quick reminder that you too can send in your clip. According to him, he captured it on a trail cam he'd set in the woods near his house. It was meant to capture wildlife, but instead it captured a life that, although wild, didn't fit your typical description of wildlife. There on the screen is a girl moving across the forest floor with the fluidity and grace that's almost otherworldly. But here's the thing, she's not just strolling along like your average hiker. No. She's running on all fours. Her movements so animalistic that at first glance you might mistake it for just another woodland creature. But hold on, it gets even stranger. The girl, dressed in human clothes but sporting an animal mask and a tail, effortlessly leaps into the air as if defying gravity itself. It's a scene that's as mesmerizing as it is baffling. Could it be a person with inhuman abilities, or is this some type of prank stunt being pulled on the trail cam owner?
I don't know, but you tell me what you think that is. It looks like something out of an arcade game.
In this recent and intriguing footage, a peculiar light was observed moving in circular patterns in the night sky. The unusual movement raised questions about the light's origin and nature, as stars typically don't exhibit such behavior. Skeptics, ever watchful, cast doubt upon the authenticity of this celestial waltz, proposing the involvement of CGI in crafting such enchantment. Yet others lean toward the possibility of something more enigmatic. Could it be a celestial phenomenon, a dance of light refracted through the Earth's atmospheric layers? Alternatively, does it signal a visitation from realms unknown, or just someone having a little fun with a flashlight? This next clip was recorded back in 2018 when a man went camping in the woods of Oregon, alone.
Shoots, Oregon. Well, close to Bend, Oregon.
He did his best to film everything, but little did he know those short clips he filmed would be documentations of the last moments of his life. As he settled in at nighttime, he heard noises outside his tent. It sounded like rocks being moved about. But how?
Sounds right outside the tent. There's someone right outside the tent.
Perplexed, he shouted for whatever or whoever it was to leave, but the noise continued.
Leave me alone!
Based on the footage, one can even state that his shouting might have attracted the intruder because it came towards his tent and attempted to get in, but the camper saw it and ran out. After he was sure he'd lost it, he settled down and started looking around. Perhaps he wanted to make sure that whatever it was had really gone. But then, out of nowhere, a tall, pale creature came toward him, and that's where the footage ends. The man was never seen again, and the only evidence of the incident is this footage. Did you catch a glimpse of what appeared to him, though? It looked gray and alien. What do you think happened to him? Cloning has always been a fascinating yet controversial topic. It's a subject many avoid for obvious reasons. This next clip might change their opinion, though. You see it too, right? A factory producing silicon human heads, torsos, limbs, and other body parts. Isn't it amazing how detailed and realistic they look? The movement of the robotic up torso gives me the heebie-jeebies with its lifelike movements and gestures. While I see what these could be used for, I can't help but wonder if it's safe to even have them. I mean, anyone could be impersonated using these cloned body parts. One second thought, how do we know that's not already happening? After all, we've got some world leaders acting weird and not like themselves every now and then. If these things are truly being used to impersonate others, then perhaps we need to be extra careful. What do you think, though? Do you think that that's a possibility, or am I just being a conspiracy theorist? Please share your thoughts. Someone shared this footage. It was a video of a disc-like craft being chased by a jet. Unfortunately, the exact location where the incident was captured remains unknown. The jet seems to be in hot pursuit of the UFO, which has led some commenters to speculate that the UFO is a government-made and that the jet is accompanying the craft. This would explain why the jet is so close to the UFO. However, others believe that the footage is entirely fake and that it's been doctored to make it appear as if the UFO is being chased by a jet. It's worth noting that there have been numerous instances in the past where people have claimed to have captured footage of UFOs, but these have later been debunked as hoaxes or natural phenomenon. Members of my team think that might be the case here, but then again, nothing's false until it can be proven so, right? Anyway, what are your thoughts? You might be wondering what you are looking at, but allow me to explain. This is a supposed patent for a full-body teleportation system. I don't need to explain what this is, right? The document states that this invention is a system that teleports a human being through hyperspace from one location to another using a pulsed gravitational wave traveling through hyperspace. Basically, whoever is responsible for this invention was trying, or perhaps has found a way, to teleport from one place to the other. I went through the document and realized that the patent has been abandoned. Closer scrutiny of the document, you'll realize that the patent was applied for in 2004 by one St. Clair John Q. We did some digging on the individual and realized that he's one person who has applied for many strange patents. It's even scary to mention them since his whole persona is shrouded in mystery. Perhaps in the near future we may do a deep dive on him, but until then, what do you guys think of the patent? This clip has gone viral, and not for the reasons you might imagine. Yes, she's beautiful, if I do say so myself, but that's not the reason she's gone viral. The residence where she believes thinks that she's not from this earth. She wears this white robe wrapped around her body and walks around barefooted. She walks and moves in this eerily automated manner which is so unhuman-like. The residents of the area follow her around asking her questions, thinking she might be an alien. But is she though? Well, there's a subsect of the internet that doesn't think so. They believe she's just attention-seeking, and the residents have bought into her craft and are giving her what she wants. You see the clip too, don't you? So what do you make of it? You might want to brace yourself for this next one because not everyone can stomach it. If you can't handle lots of insects, move ahead by a few seconds so you can miss this clip completely. Now, I don't know what this is. There are people all gathered around a peculiar sight, a pile of food laid out before a statue, while insects buzz about in a chaotic frenzy. Now, at first glance, it might seem like a scene from a surreal dream or perhaps a feverish nightmare. But as you watch, you notice something curious. The people in the room don't seem the least bit bothered by the buzzing insects or the seemingly odd display before them. So what in the world is going on here? Some might be quick to jump to conclusions, speculating that this is some form of worship or ritual, with the food being offered as a sacred offering to the statue. After all, stranger things have happened in the name of faith, right? But then again, it's also possible that there's a more practical explanation at play here. Perhaps these folks are simply unfazed by the presence of insects, either due to familiarity or some other reason. Or maybe there's a cultural aspect to this scene that we're not privy to, where the coexistence of humans, insects, and offerings is perfectly normal. Do mermaids really exist? Millions before us have debated and tried to find an answer to this question. Even Christopher Columbus was not exempted as he documented encounters with what is believed to be mermaids. Recently, someone recorded this footage of what appears to be a mermaid in the sea. Although the creature was far away, its features are still clearly visible. It had the lower body of a fish and the upper body of a human. While this may have been exciting some years ago, given the current state of AI and deepfakes, we have to ask, do you think this is real? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Do you remember the Miami incident where they said there were aliens at the mall? Well, this clip resurfaced online with someone claiming that this is from the Miami incident. In the clip, there are two policemen, one standing and one looking down at whatever that is. Now, the officer is holding a shield that reads, Astronomia Police, Hellenic Police. This is in Greece. It has nothing to do with the Miami alien incident. But then again, if this footage is not edited, what type of creature could that be? Our next clip is what you call a weird and strange one. This clip starts, and we're introduced to this man who puts his hand out, and it starts turning white. Obviously, this isn't normal, but then again, there's not much context to the footage, which leaves us in the realm of speculation. One hypothesis thrown in by the community is the chilling prospect of Raynaud's phenomenon. This is a condition where blood vessels constrict, typically triggered by cold weather. While that might sound intelligent, Googling up the condition will be enough for you to know that this isn't it. Others are tossing around the idea that the man applied a solvent on his hand that affects the skin, leaving it as dry as the Sahara Desert with a little discoloration. Some even state it could be a gas reaction, but even Julius is baffled and doesn't have answers. If our science was as baffled, then I guess I am too. So to the experts out there, does anyone know what might be happening here? Please do share. Do you believe demons exist? No? Then how do you explain this? The screams you hear are from the devices of an explorer that crashed into a water body. He'd gone out to explore the great outdoors and document the adventures when he suddenly lost control of his drone and it crashed into the waters. Try as he may, he couldn't get it out and gave up. Upon returning home, he checked the last recorded footage on the cloud, and surely enough, it was the last moments of his devices. He doesn't believe what he heard were the sounds of his devices. No, they sounded hellish and demonic to him. He then uploaded it online, and some sided with him, saying that they'd experienced the same thing before. The majority, however, told him the sounds, although sounding like screams, are definitely coming from his drone being in the water. When you think about it, that sounds very logical, but maybe, just maybe, that's what the demons want us to think. What are your thoughts, though? For some time now, a ranch owner has been hearing strange noises on his property, which left him feeling unsettled. As a result, he decided to investigate and set up a camera to capture any activity that might be causing the noises. He initially thought it could be coyotes, but what he found on reviewing the footage was quite unexpected. To his surprise, the footage showed a strange-looking creature that seemed emaciated, with a very thin neck. The creature was peering inside the room through the window, and its appearance was quite unsettling. Naturally, he was perplexed and posted the footage on our paranormal platform. Some thought it had to be aliens, while many thought it was nothing more than an attempt for 5 or 10 minutes of fame. Critically look at the clip again and share what you think.
Ryan! Oh my God, Ryan!
Two New Yorkers seeking refuge from a snowstorm in the balmy confines of Fort Lauderdale found themselves face to face with a phenomenon they likely hadn't expected: a tornado. Witnessing their first tornado, they trained their gaze on the awe-inspiring spectacle unfolding before them. The tornado, a force of nature with its agenda, danced unpredictably from place to place, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. As you watch the footage, you can see the tornado's power as it effortlessly lifts objects into the air and transforms the serene waters below into a chaotic battleground. Hopefully, no one got hurt, but it's safe to say that these individuals were mighty glad they were nowhere near it. The connection between animals and the spirit world has long been a subject of fascination, with many believing that animals possess an innate sensitivity to the unseen. In a piece of intriguing security cam footage, this idea comes to life as a dark, man-like mass appears in the middle of the street, engaging with a group of stray dogs. The dogs, seemingly aware of the entity's presence, focus their attention on the mysterious figure. The entity bends down, placing something on the ground. Ghostly treats, perhaps. While some may be quick to attribute the footage to skilled editing, others entertain the notion that it captures a genuine interaction between the ethereal and the animal kingdom. Having watched the clip yourself, what do you think is going on here? A man went exploring a cemetery and stumbled upon something deeply unsettling. There was an old abandoned building on the grounds, and at one point he thought he saw something inside. But when he checked, there was no one there. As he continued exploring, he suddenly noticed something unusual. Sitting on a concrete bench was an elderly woman. She sat completely still and silent, gazing up at the sky. The man called out to her, but she didn't respond. Instead, she slowly turned her head, looking directly at him for a few seconds, and then turned back to the sky. At that moment, a wave of dread washed over the man. This was a cemetery, isolated and abandoned, and it was the dead of night. What was an elderly woman doing there alone, and more importantly, was she even human? Too terrified to approach, the man quickly left, but the eerie encounter haunted him, leaving him to wonder, had he just seen a ghost?
Hello? Ma'am? Do you need help? Do you need help? Yeah. Not doing that.
A family was having a heartfelt moment in their living room, singing a hymn together while someone stood in the center recording the beautiful memory. Everyone seemed deeply immersed in the song, enjoying the warmth of the moment, completely unaware that the camera was about to capture something eerie. As the camera panned across the room, it briefly caught something disturbing. A dark, shadowy figure dashed across the doorway into another room. It moved so fast, almost like it had been caught doing something it wasn't supposed to do. The shape was vaguely human, except that it was completely black. No one in the family saw it in real time, and neither the person recording nor anyone else in the room seemed to notice anything unusual at that moment. But when they rewatched the footage later, the figure became impossible to ignore. Now, the real question is, what was it? The family had never reported any paranormal activity before. No strange occurrences, no unexplained noises, and no eerie feelings in the house. So if this dark figure was truly something supernatural, how did it get there? And what did it want? It's hard to say. The popular opinion is that the family's worship session may have been upset the being or spirit that showed up. Some even went as far as to say that the holy worship was affecting the unholy being. This, of course, is pure speculation, but do you have a better explanation? A woman lit a candle and placed it near a hanging ball of clothes, and what happened next was truly eerie. A face appeared on the fabric. You can make out the shape of eyes, nose, mouth, and even what looks like hair. The face seems to have its eyes closed, almost as if it's resting. There's no context given in the footage, so it's unclear where the clothes came from or if there's any background to this strange occurrence. But what do you think? Could this be just a coincidence, a trick of light and shadows, or is there something more mysterious at play here? A man stumbled upon a random egg lying on the ground in tiny stones and sand. As he reached out to pick it up, he noticed something eerie. There was an eye staring back at him from beside the egg. The eye belonged to a massive creature hidden beneath the sand, watching his every move. The man froze, realizing that whatever this creature was, it was far from ordinary. Now everyone is baffled. Some believe it could be a crocodile, while others think it might be just some kind of bird. But with only the eye visible, it's hard to tell what kind of animal this is. What do you think? Could this mysterious creature be guarding its egg, or is it something entirely different? NASA frequently shares images of Mars, capturing its rocky, barren terrain. But every time they do, people seem to spot something unusual that could suggest life beyond Earth. Take this image from 2022, for example. At first glance, it just looks like a typical Martian landscape, dry, rocky, and lifeless. But look closely. Among the scattered rocks, there's a tic-tac-shaped object, and it even has a shadow beneath it. Most people who saw this immediately called it a UFO, arguing that the shape and the way it casts a shadow suggests it's hovering above the surface. But NASA dismissed it entirely, saying it was just another rock formation on the terrain. Still, something about this one feels different. It doesn't quite match the surroundings, and that shadow makes it more suspicious. Could this be actual proof of extraterrestrial activity on Mars, or are people just reading too much meaning into it? Personally, I feel this might be an exaggeration, but hey, what do I know? I haven't been to Mars now, have I? Have you ever seen those viral videos of glass bridges in China? Some people confidently walk across, while others have a total meltdown the moment they step on it. Honestly, it's terrifying. These bridges are often built nearly 1,000 feet above the ground, so you can imagine the fear and the danger if anything were to go wrong. Designed for thrill seekers, the first major glass bridge attracted an overwhelming 80,000 visitors in a single day, despite being intended for only 8,000 per day. And as we've seen in those videos, not everyone enjoys the thrill. You'd think something this high up would have extra safety measures, right? Well, while these bridges are designed with multiple layers of reinforced glass, there have been concerning incidents. In one case, extreme wind pressure shattered glass panels on a bridge in China, leaving a terrified tourist clinging to the railing until rescue teams arrived. The victim was reportedly traumatized and had to be rushed to the hospital for psychological care. There have also been cases of people slipping, though falling over the side is rare due to safety barriers. Still, the idea of walking on glass at such heights is enough to make most people think twice. So would you dare to cross one, or have you already tried it? While walking through the woods, a man reported hearing strange noises coming from nearby. Curious, he decided to follow the sounds, leading him to a large tree. As he got closer, he realized the noises were coming from behind the tree. When he cautiously walked around it, he was suddenly confronted by something unexpected. Out from the shadows emerged a tall creature with a reptilian face and a brownish body. The sight startled the man, causing him to panic and run off. Now, looking at the video, the creature appears so odd and out of place that it feels hard to believe it's real. The way it moves and looks almost seems staged, leading many, including myself, to think this could very well be a hoax. But what do you think? A man was trekking through the Cambodian jungle when he stumbled upon a peculiar plant. At first glance, it seemed to be an ordinary flower. It had long, delicate white petals that appeared almost paper thin. Intrigued by its unusual appearance, he brought his palm closer to get a better look. But then something unexpected happened. The white petals suddenly flew off the plant into the air. What just happened? Was it some kind of insect disguised as a flower, or were their strange white shapes actually a part of the plant? Has anyone seen anything like this before? A family had just moved into a new home, excited to start fresh. But on their very first night, something unsettling happened. The mother had been lying in bed when she heard a strange noise coming from her child's room. Feeling uneasy, she checked the baby monitor, and what she saw sent chills down her spine. Her child was wide awake at 2 a.m., lying in bed, except for one thing. The child was staring into the corner of the room, a haunting smile on her face. She didn't move, didn't blink, just kept gazing at something unseen. At that moment, the mother felt a chill of dread. Her worst fears seemed to be coming true. Here's the thing. Before they moved in, during renovations, they had found some disturbing objects in the basement, things that looked like they had been used for witchcraft or some kind of ritual. At the time, she'd hesitated to buy the house because of that, but her husband brushed it off, saying it was nothing to worry about. But now, watching her child smile at something invisible in the dark, she couldn't shake the feeling that those strange objects in the basement might be connected to this terrifying experience. How well do you take care of your trash can? Because this is what a man found one morning when he went to take out the trash. Inside, he discovered a massive infestation of insects, and even worse, a nest completely caked in the can. Just look at this thing, it's so overgrown. I wonder if he even used the trash can at all. Luckily for him, this wasn't just any nest, it was a hive of vulture bees. These bees don't sting. Unlike regular bees, they have no stingers at all. Vulture bees are a rare type of stingless bee that feed on rotten meat instead of nectar, usually special gut bacteria, to convert carrion into an edible honey-like substance. It seems like they took over the trash can simply because the owner wasn't using it, and they turned it into their new home. I think it's safe to say he's going to need some professional beekeepers to come and handle this one. What would you have done if this was in your trash can? At Fox Creek, Alberta, a man stumbled upon something unusual while walking near a sandy area by the water. The sand was soft and untouched, except for a set of massive footprints. These weren't your ordinary footprints. They were barefoot and human-like, but significantly larger, wider, and left deep impressions about 2 inches into the sand. Given the area's reputation for Bigfoot sightings, these prints seemed to align with the numerous reports of the elusive creature in the region. Now, if you think that's strange, take a look at this next image. It was captured by a truck driver's dash cam in Alberta. The driver had pulled over to pick up some equipment, and as he stepped out of the truck, he noticed something that sent chills down his spine. This massive creature standing behind a tree. Panicked, he bolted back into his truck and drove away, but not before his dashcam recorded a glimpse of the mysterious figure. The creature was estimated to be around 10 feet tall, towering ominously behind the tree. These sightings add to the growing number of encounters with something extraordinary in Alberta. Could these really be signs of Bigfoot? Before you're tempted to click away, this is actually a paranormal clip. Wait a few seconds and there, see it? To your left in the corner, there's a pair of eyes staring at the woman. That's not exactly normal now, is it? We're not told where exactly this was filmed, only that it was filmed near the woods, and the woman appears to have been exercising or doing yoga. Not sure why she would choose such a location, but then again, there are people who feel much closer to nature. She had her session, went home, and wanted to review her clips. It was at that moment that she noticed that she was not alone in the woods. She uploaded it online seeking answers, but the paranormal community couldn't agree on what we were dealing with. Some thought it was a demon, others a possessed ape, and some an otherworldly being. Given the nature of the clip, I could understand where each of them was coming from. I went through the comments section of the original post and saw comments saying there was more than one set of eyes. One even mentioned there was 2 sets of eyes. This got me watching over and over until I could spot them. Can you? Despite the large number of individuals calling this clip legit, there were still some who believed that this had to be CGI. You've seen the clip. What do you think? Next, we have an image that was supposedly leaked from 4chan showing what some claim to be a crashed UAP in Mexico. The photo captures a strange vehicle lying in some bushes, its glass windshield shattered. The wreckage looks mysterious, and from this angle you can't fully make out its shape. Some believe this is an actual unidentified aerial phenomenon that crash-landed. Others, however, aren't so convinced, pointing out that some parts of the wreckage look suspiciously like a Honda Civic. I refused to show this to Julius because I wasn't ready for any judgmental eyes. Personally, I see more broken fiberglass or carbon fiber than I do an alien ship, but like I said, what do I know? Since COVID-19, humidifier use has become more common, often promoted as a way to maintain healthy humidity levels and improve breathing. However, what many don't realize is that humidifiers can actually worsen air quality if not properly maintained. If not cleaned regularly, humidifiers can harbor bacteria, mold, and other microorganisms. The warm, moist environment inside the device creates an ideal breeding ground for germs. When contaminated water is turned into mist, these harmful particles can spread through the air, potentially causing respiratory issues, allergies, or even lung infections. But that's not the only concern. Many humidifiers, especially cheaper models, are made from low-quality plastic that can degrade over time, releasing plasticizers and other chemicals into the air. These compounds, including phthalates and bisophenols, have been linked to hormone disruption and other health issues. When heated or exposed to moisture, these plastics can leach harmful substances, further reducing indoor air quality. Many people also neglect to clean their humidifiers frequently, allowing bacteria, mold, and chemical residues to accumulate. Instead of improving air quality, a dirty or poorly made humidifier might make it worse. If you still want a humidifier after learning this, then you are better off buying the high-quality BPA-free models. Even then, you must still clean them regularly. At this point, not much seems to surprise me anymore, especially when AI and technology are involved. Just take a look at this footage. Engineers have created a robot that looks exactly like Donald Trump. And when I say it looks real, I mean really real. It's not just Trump either. There are quite a few other public figures who have been replicated using AI and robotics, and it's starting to get eerie. These replicas are so lifelike that it makes you wonder about some of the strange behaviors we sometimes see from these big personalities in public. Could it be that we're hearing robots instead of real people to maintain appearances? While the experts do the talking in the comments section, allow me to show you this. This is an alleged UFO sighting that popped up in my feed. Initially, I was excited because Aaron is the one who brings those clips. I wanted something genuine and authentic from myself, but the more I looked at this, the more I felt it was not really or genuine. In a bid to avoid being laughed at or teased, I added this discreetly to our list of clips for the day. So you've seen it. Do you think it's genuine? Let me know in the comments section. A little disclaimer though, I have a hard time believing this is a real deal. That's out of the way, let's hear your thoughts. Have you ever wondered why we never seem to get clear footage of Bigfoot even in today's technologically advanced world? There are tons of crisp, high-quality Trailcam images of wild animals roaming the forests, but when it comes to Bigfoot, all we ever get are grainy, blurry, or distorted images. Take a look at these Bigfoot photographs. Some are a bit clearer, but most are still low quality. Yet they all share the same distinct features found in nearly every Bigfoot sighting. Now, some believe this is exactly why Bigfoot is never officially acknowledged as a real species, because if they were, it might create problems for certain groups. Others have an even wilder theory that Bigfoot isn't just another undiscovered primate, but rather an interdimensional being capable of distorting camera footage whenever it's captured. Could that explain why so many images turn out unclear, or is it just pure coincidence? Either way, the fact that we still don't have a single high-quality image of Bigfoot is pretty suspicious. Bigfoot isn't the only primate cryptid out there. There are others that have been talked about for years, and one of the most well-known is the skunk ape. A woman in Florida was taking a breather in a backyard one night when she suddenly noticed something moving behind the plants. She quickly snapped a few pictures, but at the time, she thought nothing of it, assuming it was just an orangutan that had somehow wandered into a property. She brushed it off and continued enjoying her night. Not sure why though, because Florida doesn't have any wild orangutans. A few days later, while showing the photographs to friends, they noticed something strange. This thing didn't look like an orangutan at all. The face was different, not quite what you'd expect from an orangutan, a gorilla, or any known primate. So she decided to share the images online, and that's when the paranormal community took notice. Some people suggested it could be Dogman, but something about this creature screamed primate rather than canine. The majority of people came to one conclusion: this could be a skunk ape. They're similar to Bigfoot but smaller. Skunk apes are said to dwell in swampy areas and are notorious for their strong foul odor, hence the name. So looking at these images, what do you think the woman really captured? Here we have another UFO footage that was shared online, but no one seems to know exactly where it was taken. In the clip, you can see three strange objects flying in the sky. Nearby, there's a helicopter seemingly observing or investigating the unusual aerial activity. These flying objects have been reported as UFOs, and based on the footage, it looks like authorities may have been dispatched to check them out. With the footage creating a lot of buzz, it's hard not to wonder, are we looking at another UFO encounter, or is this just fake? Here Is there a Bigfoot in Georgia? Before you answer, take a look at this.
They got Bigfoot. Found him down here in Georgia. Guy dragging him with that helicopter.
The individual who recorded this clip was going about his day like he usually would when he saw something rather unusual in the sky. There were 2 military helicopters in the sky carrying something large. At first, he thought it was an object, something classified, but the more he looked, the more he felt it might be a living thing. After staring for a while, he was sure it was a Bigfoot and started to record. As you can see from the clip, however, there's no Samsung Ultra with 100% zoom, so the clip is quite blurry. He is, however, convinced that a Bigfoot, and many have asked how he came to that conclusion. He doesn't say much, only that the clip doesn't do the whole thing justice. So you've seen it, so what do you think?
They got Bigfoot. Found him down here in Georgia. Guy dragging him with that helicopter.
A couple had gone on a late-night drive and decided to pull over on the side of the road for some quiet time together. But as they sat there, enjoying the moment, something in the darkness of the forest caught their attention. Through the trees, they saw a pair of glowing eyes staring directly at them. The eyes were intense, reflecting the car's headlights in an eerie way. The creature appeared to have pointed ears, and though its body was mostly obscured by the shadows, they could tell it was four-legged. Now, while the paranormal community did jump to the conclusion that this is a cryptid, others believe it's simply a cougar or a bobcat, both of which are known to roam the area. Big cats have highly reflective eyes, which could explain the unsettling glow. But the couple insists that there was something off about the encounter. The way the creature just stood there unblinking, watching them without moving, gave them an unnerving feeling like it was more than just a wild animal. You've seen the clip, so what do you think? The Greeks have some of the most fascinating legends, especially when it comes to their gods, but beyond that, there are also tales of mystical creatures lurking in the Ionian Sea, including stories of a sea monster that supposedly haunts the waters near Corfu. Recently, 2 images surfaced supposedly showing evidence of a massive sea creature. The first image showed a strange spiky-backed creature on the water's surface. Many quickly claimed it was a sea monster. The second image captured what looked like a huge creature emerging from the sea, rumored to be another unknown marine beast spotted by a boater in the Ionian waters. But both images were debunked. The first so-called sea monster turned out to be a dolphin with a severe back injury, and the second creature wasn't even a living thing. It was a piece of a boat that had fallen into the water. So while the Greek gods and mythical creatures make for great stories, it looks like this time Poseidon didn't send any real monsters our way. Time travel has always been a fascinating concept involving moving through time. We've all seen it in sci-fi movies, but could it actually be real? Take a look at this intriguing footage from the 1980s. A woman in the crowd is seen using what looks like a mobile phone, and not just any phone. She's holding it sideways like she's recording in portrait mode. But mobile phones haven't even been invented yet at the time, and if that's not strange enough, notice the girl standing next to her. She looks completely shocked, staring at the device in disbelief. So what's going on here? How could this woman possibly be using a mobile phone decades before they were available? This isn't the only case either. There are other instances where people seem to be using futuristic devices way before their time. Could this be proof that time travelers exist, or is there some other explanation we've missed? I can't confirm the authenticity of this clip, but what do you think?
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
What the f*** is this?
of the incoming projectiles were intercepted. Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
Irrespective of where you're watching this from, you probably by now know that there's a war going on in the Middle East. Missiles are firing left and right, and it's not funny. What many do not know, however, is that some of the clips being shown on TV have some strange artifacts on them. If you've been paying attention to this clip, you should have seen it. There's a black tadpole-like object moving on the left side of the screen. At first, I thought this was not right, but there were many in the comments section of the post who saw it too. This has led to many theories in the online community. Some of them are strange and outright bizarre. Some think it's the spirit of death actively at work in the region being caught on camera. Some also think it might be demons instead. There are many who subscribe to the idea it's a jinn, an evil one to be precise. Some even mentioned aliens, but were not sure how to feel about that one. Did you watch this broadcast? Did you notice anything? If you did, let us know in the comments section.
Of the incoming projectiles were intercepted.
A man was driving through the Navajo reservation when he noticed something strange on the side of the mountain. It was a perfectly circular crater embedded into the rocky surface. It looked too precise to be natural, which made it both fascinating and suspicious at the same time. Many members of the paranormal community believe this could be a landing mark left by a UFO, possibly from an unidentified craft that touched down on the mountain. However, without any physical evidence, this theory remains just speculation. On the other hand, a skeptical commenter had a different take, suggesting that this mysterious formation could simply be a sinkhole. But that raises another question. How does a sinkhole form on the side of a mountain? Typically, sinkholes appear on flat ground due to the collapse of underground caverns, usually caused by erosion, water flow, or structural weaknesses in the rock. But for one to form on the side of a mountain, well, that's far less common. Have you ever heard of the Yellock Bigfoot photograph? It was captured by a couple, Jeff and Teresa Yellock, who are known as Sasquatch investigators. The couple has spent years researching Bigfoot hotspots, filming strange tree formations, and collecting evidence of possible Sasquatch activity in the area. They're extremely passionate about the cryptid, and this particular photograph has become one of their most well-known pieces of evidence. The image shows a forest landscape with trees and branches scattered around. But when you zoom in behind the trees, you can spot a large figure peeking through the gaps. Classic Bigfoot behavior. These creatures are often said to observe from a distance, staying hidden while keeping an eye on people. So what do you think of this image?
My ladder is walking by itself. No joke. Yeah. I ain't never seen no like this.
If objects could talk, I'm sure they'd have a lot to say, just like in this footage right here. A man was working with a ladder, had it set down, and went to do something else. When he returned, he found this. The ladder was moving on its own. Just look at that. There's no strings attached, no one nearby pulling it, nothing. You could even see the shadow of the ladder moving on the floor, clearly showing no signs of trickery. No wires or strings attached whatsoever. I'm not sure what this man uses the ladder for, but it seems like the ladder is tired and trying to escape from work. Either that or this man deserves some lashes for telling lies, which I think he is telling, by the way.
My ladder is walking by itself. No joke. Yeah. I ain't never seen no like this.
We're looking at souls inside the dust particles because why is it so bright? Look at them. I'm gonna zoom in again. Bro, see that? That's bright as hell. No, bro, that.
This footage was taken by a group of people walking through the city one night when they noticed something truly strange. Two beams of light were shooting into the sky, and around those beams were tiny shiny orbs flying in a mesmerizing pattern. The person who recorded the footage claims that there are orbs and they are souls. In the comments of the video, one person shared an eerie experience of their own, writing, "I went up on the rooftop on 9/11 to the building on Wall Street, and yes, this can be seen. I don't think it's birds or bugs. I think it's the souls of people who have tragically passed away. It's certainly a chilling idea, tiny orbs, souls of the departed rising into the sky. But could there be another explanation? What do you think? Could these orbs really be the souls of those who have lost their lives, or is there something else at play?"
We're looking at souls inside the dust particles because why is it so bright? Look at them. I'm gonna zoom in again. Bro, see that? That's bright as hell. No, bro, that.
This is what a driver caught on camera while speeding through a forest in Hertfordshire. A humanoid figure wearing a white dress keeping pace with his car. At first he thought it was just his mind playing tricks on him, but as he focused on the figure, it moved unnaturally fast among the trees, effortlessly matching his speed. The way it glided, rather than ran, made this clear this couldn't be a normal person. The eerie encounter has sparked much speculation. Some believe it could be a ghostly apparition, possibly a spirit trapped in the forest, or a residual haunt. Others suggest it might be a paranormal entity, such as a wraith or a forest-dwelling cryptid. Skeptics argue that it could be a visual distortion caused by motion blur, making it seem like the figure was moving faster than it actually was. But if it was just a person, how could they move that fast through a dense forest without tripping or slowing down? And just like that, we're back to unclear clips. This piece of footage was shared by a fisherman who was fishing in the Florida Keys when he saw something strange swim past his boat. Beneath the surface, he spotted a pale, bluish figure moving gracefully through the water. The shape was exactly what you'd expect from a mermaid, a fishtail and a humanoid upper body. The creature swam right past the boat, and the fisherman captured a few seconds of footage before it disappeared. While the video is unclear, you can still make out its shape. Some believe this could be one of the most compelling mermaid sightings, yet skeptics argue that it could just be a hoax. But looking at the footage, what do you think? Next up, we visit the waters between Haiti and Cuba, where something rather unusual is happening. Take a look.
Oh my god, what the are the... Is that fish? Mark, look at my phone, they're glowing.
Yeah, I know, I can see from here.
What is glowing underneath the ocean?
It's just a different color.
Mom, no. Look. Look at the colors on them. Oh my god.
So this was recorded by someone on a ship, and it's left him puzzled. Sure, the sea is a place of beauty with stuff not many have seen before, but this has many scratching their heads. The individual who uploaded this clip insists there was nothing under the water to make it that colorful. This led to some rather colorful explanations from the community, with some suggesting that it's most probably an underwater UFO. As interesting as that sounds, there are a few individuals who have been on ships who insist that it's definitely a reflection of the ship the individual recorded is in, especially if it's a cruise ship. Unfortunately, I have no experience in this area since anything that has to do with the deep seas scares me. So if you've been on a cruise ship, can you confirm if this is normal or not?
Oh my god, what the are the... Is that fish? Mark, look at my phone, they're glowing.
Yeah, I know, I can see from here.
What is glowing underneath the ocean?
Hey, caray, cane. Hey. কি অবস্থা এই মেয়ে দাঁড়াও আরে
The next footage comes from India, and what happens here is pretty eerie, if I do say so myself. The man behind the camera was walking late at night when he stumbled upon a man and a woman sitting on the ground with their backs turned to him. As soon as the man sitting with the woman notices someone approaching, he immediately got up and started running. Without hesitation, the man with the camera chased after him, but no matter how fast he ran, he couldn't catch up. Meanwhile, the woman remained completely calm and unmoved by what was happening. When the man filming gave up the chase and returned to where the woman was, she had now stood up and was walking away, still keeping her back to him. He tried to get her attention, calling out to her, but she never responded. Then things took a turn for the unsettling. The woman stopped walking and stood behind a tree just out of sight. When the cameraman approached to get a better look at her, what he saw sent him running in terror. She had turned ahead, but her face was obscured by her long black hair, and her glowing eyes stared back at him from behind the strands. Her face was grotesque, almost inhuman. Now we understand why the first man ran off in such a panic. But there's something even more puzzling about this whole situation. If the woman is as terrifying as she appears, who was the man sitting with her in the first place? And why did he flee when he saw the cameraman approaching?
Hey, কারা এখানে? Hey! কি অবস্থা এই মেয়ে দাঁড়াও আরে
A family in Brazil who lives near the woods had set up a trail camera all over their properties to monitor the area. They never expected to capture something this strange. One night, a creature emerged from the darkness and started sniffing around their car before quickly retreating. At first, they thought it was just a stray dog, but then they looked closer at its facial features and they realized this was no ordinary animal. It looked more humanoid than canine, with long black hair covering its body, but with dog-like ears on top of its head, and its movements were swift and calculated, as if it was scouting the area. Most people who saw the footage immediately said this could be the infamous Dogman. Considering that Brazil has its own Dogman legends, many believe this might be real evidence of the creature. Personally, I would have preferred clearer footage to give my opinion, but this is all we have. What do you guys think? Now, let's talk about parasites. Every living thing can have parasites in its body, and as their name suggests, they need a host to survive. But what about humans? How do we get these organisms into our system? There are many ways, but one of the most common is through the foods that we eat. If you love sushi and sashimi, well, this might be hard to hear, but eating raw fish that isn't properly handled or preserved can easily expose you to parasites. Another major culprit is pork. For all the pork lovers out there, make sure your meat is well cooked, because undercooked pork can also lead to breeding grounds for parasites. And trust me, you don't want parasites living inside you. They can cause serious health issues if left unchecked. So consider this a reminder: if you haven't done a parasite cleanse, it might be time to deworm yourself. And please be extra careful with that sushi. If I had a penny for every time someone told me Bigfoot was not real, I would be a billionaire by now. But clips like this are always around to try and prove the big guy exists. This clip was uploaded online by Manuel in Oklahoma. According to him, he woke up one day to go about his normal duties when he saw a large creature in the distance. Intrigued and curious, he drew closer with his camera, rolling, and this is what he captured. Now, when this was uploaded, many were excited, stating that this had to be undeniable proof of Bigfoot's existence. I was also excited about the clip, especially because it's not so blurry. Once it started to play, it was very convincing, until I saw its lips, and then the excitement disappeared. Am I the only one who thinks those lips make the thing look like a costume with a bad face mask, or am I being too critical of the details? Have you ever heard of an eternal flame? And no, I'm not talking about some sci-fi plot here. I'm talking about real-life eternal flames. Fires that somehow have never gone out. There are only 9 eternal flames in the world, and this is one of them, located at the Shale Creek Preserve in western New York. It's hidden inside layers of rock with a small flame continuously burning. What's even more fascinating is that it's supposed to be near a waterfall, but right now it's mostly dry with just a few drops trickling down. It's amazing to think that something like this exists, nature creating something that just keeps burning without any human intervention. What do you all make of this personally? Next, we got a man who was out in the woods filming what seemed to be a survival series. It was close to sundown, and as darkness started to settle in, he was preparing for the night ahead. But then, out of nowhere, he heard something, a man screaming. He followed the sound, cautiously making his way through the trees, and then he saw it. In the open field, there was a silhouette of a man standing completely still, stiff as a statue. The figure wasn't moving, but it was yelling for help over and over again, with no visible signs of injury or distress. The man filming was frozen with fear, unsure of what to do next. Should he approach the person and risk being in a trap, or should he stay put and retreat? There are countless stories of creatures like skinwalkers, mythical beings that can mimic human voices to lure people in. These creatures are said to imitate cries for help, drawing unsuspecting victims close enough to capture them. On the other hand, we can't ignore the possibility that dangerous individuals could use this same tactic to bait victims in isolated places. In such a situation, I'm not sure what I'd do either. The lack of movement from the figure, despite the cries for help, would definitely set off alarm bells. Would you risk going closer, or would you trust your instincts and stay far away from whatever or whoever was making that sound? Speaking of giant birds, take a look at this footage captured by a woman hiking in New Jersey. She recorded the clip after coming across some unusual prints on the ground.
They're bigger than my foot. Here's another one. I'm a size 10.
These bird-like footprints were massive and about the size of her own size 10 feet. That's way too large for any regular bird you'd expect to find in the area. Given the odd nature of the discovery, she naturally uploaded online, which sparked a debate. Some speculated that it could be the mark of a dinosaur-like creature, hinting at something prehistoric still roaming the earth. While that sounds intriguing, many were of the view that it was not possible given the fact that dinosaurs have been, well, extinct. Some also recounted that there have been legends of giant birds like the thunderbirds in Native American lore, which are said to have enormous wingspans and leave prints that could match this description. Not sure which sounds more believable, dinosaurs or thunderbirds, but what are your thoughts?
They're bigger than my foot. Here's another one. I'm a size 10.
This next clip is one you're going to have to help me with. What do you think is going on here? I watched this over and over and over again, trying to decipher and discern what could be going on here. But try as I may, I just couldn't. I had to put my ego and pride aside to ask Julius, our science whiz. It only took a few seconds, but after analyzing the clip, he stated that the dogs had been tied by the waist. Why? Well, it's hard to say. With what? That's also something we can't determine from the clip. But that's our working hypothesis. What do you guys think? Back in 2021, this footage was taken over the ocean in China. Strange glowing objects appeared in strange formations above the water, moving together for a bit, then one by one, they just vanished into thin air. At first, they looked like lights you'd expect on crafts and moving patterns and then disappear without any obvious trail. Some people say they look like drones in formation, others call them UFOs. A few think it could be military tests or an elaborate light show that got recorded from the wrong angle. What makes it hard to explain is the way they disappear. No smoke, no falling debris, just the lights gone. That pushes people toward the more unusual ideas. But keep in mind camera's perspective and atmospheric effects that can make ordinary things look otherworldly on video. So what do you think? Drones, military aircraft, something a little bit more secretive, or something we don't have a name for yet? But with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there any clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we will post them, crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. My name's been Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Share this with somebody you love. I'll see you in the next one.